Good day everyone! Before we start, let me first introduce myself to you. My name is Christel Ghein Reginio, currently a third-year student at Marinduque State College, taking up Bachelor of Culture and Arts Education. I am 21 years old and I live in Barangay Cabuyo, Torrijos, Marinduque. Now, let us move on to our Lesson 6, the Reforms for Basic Education Curriculum. First, let me give you the overview of our module for today. This module brings you to some curricular developments, reforms, and enhancement. As the Philippine education braces itself with the ASEAN and the rest of the world, there is a need to embark on the enhancement and reforms of the curriculum. As a curriculum knower, designer, implementer, and evaluator, substantial knowledge of some of these reforms is necessary. The desired learning outcome for today is to gain comprehensive understanding of the basic education curriculum reform. But before we start, let us first define what is reforms in curriculum. It is the process of making changes to the curriculum with the intent of making learning and teaching more effective and meaningful. Curriculum designers need to enhance the curriculum and propose curricular innovations to respond to the changing educational landscape in the country as well as the other parts of the globe. It is most necessary that as a future curricularist and a teacher, you should be familiar with what is happening and what will happen in the curriculum. There is no substitute for being ready and informed. In this module, you will have comprehensive knowledge on curricular reforms initiated in the Philippines and abroad to improve the quality of teaching and learning. Curriculum designers need to enhance the recommended curriculum and propose curricular innovations to respond to the changing landscape in education regionally and globally. Are you aware of some curricular reforms in the Philippines and other countries? Now, here's one. Republic Act 10533, otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. Latest education reform in Philippine education signed into law by the President Benigno Aquino III last May 15, 2013. It is an act enhancing the Philippine basic education system by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. The Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. It is popularly known as K-12, which includes 1 year of kindergarten education, 6 years of elementary education, and 6 years of secondary education. These 6 years in secondary education includes 4 years of junior high school and 2 years of senior high school. Now, instead of having 10 years program in primary and secondary level, it became 12 years because it was added another 2 years in secondary level, which is now called the senior high school. Now, the question is, why K-12? K-12 makes the Philippine education system at par with the international standard of 12-year basic education, thereby contributing to a better educated society capable of pursuing productive employment, entrepreneurship, or higher education studies. After going through kindergarten, elementary, and junior high, and a specialized senior high school program, every K-12 graduate is ready to go into different paths: higher education, middle-level skills development, employment, or entrepreneurship. The K-12 graduates is also expected to be equipped with the 21st century skills like information, media and technology skills, learning and innovation skills, effective communication skills, and life and career skills. So, when K-12 was launched in 2012, many Filipinos were apprehensive because of the addition of 2 more years in secondary schooling. Some said the additional 2 years are added burden for the average Filipino family. Others said the K-12 programs is doomed to fail since it does not address the basic problems in education like lack of classrooms, chairs, books, teachers, quality teaching, and many more. Amidst criticism, the Department of Education pushed the K-12 implementation. What could be the reasons? Let us consider these existing realities in the Philippine education that became the basis of the K-12 implementation. The first one is the mastery of basic competencies is insufficient due to congested curriculum. This table presents the National Achievement Test results of the fourth-year students in mathematics and science. In 2005 to 2006, mathematics results, only 15% of the students acquired mastery of the mathematics competencies, while majority of 59.09% of the high school students belong to the low mastery level. The achievement results in science were even more discouraging since only 3% of the fourth-year high school students in 2005 to 2006 mastered the science processes and skills. Also, the majority belong to the low mastery category and a few were near mastery level. In international examinations, the Philippines performed poorly as revealed in 2003 TIMSS, or otherwise known as Trends in International Mathematics and Science Scores. In grade 4 Science and Math, the Philippines ranked 23 out of 25 participating countries. In High School 2 Science, the Philippines ranked 43 out of 46 and in Math, ranked 34 out of 38. Even with the science high schools participating in the advanced mathematics category in 2008 teams, the country's ranking did not improve. In fact, it ranked the lowest among 10 participating countries. Now, one of the factors that contribute to the low performance in achievement tests is the congested basic education curriculum. What other countries teach in 12 years, the Philippines teach only 10 in 10 years. The 10 years would not be enough to master the competencies and the 21st century skills. Now, the second basis is the Philippines is the only country in Asia that has a 10-year basic education program. The short duration of the basic education program also puts millions overseas Filipino workers, especially the professionals and those who intend to study abroad, at a disadvantage. Graduates of the Philippine schools are not automatically recognized as professionals outside the country due to the lack of 2 years in basic education. With K-12, Filipinos professionals would have the same competitive edge with professionals in other countries, having gone through 12 years basic education. The recommendation to improve and to lengthen the short basic education in the Philippines has been given since 1925. As most of the well-studied reforms, recommendations of either adding or restoring 7th grade or adding an extra year to basic education have been put forward. Now let us see the table 5. In the year 1925, according to Monroe survey, their recommendation is training of graduate students in agriculture, commerce, and industry because secondary education did not prepare students for life. In 1949, according to UNESCO Mission survey, their recommendation is restoration of grade 7 in primary education. In the year 1953, according to Education Act, Their recommendation is revising the primary school system by adding 1 year, which is the grade 7. In year 1960, according to Swanson survey, their recommendation is restoring grade 7 in primary education. In 1970, according to PCSPE, the recommendation is extending secondary education by 1 year to better prepare students who have no plans to take up university education. In 1991, according to EDCOM report, the recommendation is retaining the 10-year basic education pace while institutionalizing career counseling in primary and secondary schools in preparation for higher education. In 1998, according to Philippines Education Sector Study or the World Bank and ADB, their recommendation is prioritizing student learning through curricular reforms, the provision of textbooks, the use of vernacular in lower primary grades, and the institution of a longer basic educational cycle. Now, in year 2000, according to PCER, the recommendation is implementing a compulsory 1-year pre-baccalaureate stage as a prerequisite for students interested in enrolling in higher education degree programs. In 2006, according to Philippine EFA 2015 National Action Plan, the recommendation is lengthening the educational cycle by adding 2 years to formal basic education, 1 for each primary and high school. And lastly, in year 2008, according to Presidential Task Force on Education, the recommendation is extending a pre-university education to a total of 12 years, benchmarking the content of the 11th and 12th years with international programs. Table 5 contains the researches on the Philippine Basic Education Curriculum and their recommendations. Filipino students can do in 10 years what students in foreign countries do in 12 years. A number of our Filipino graduates who went through a 10 years of basic education excel in studies as well as their place of work abroad. So, why add 2 years more? This may be true, but for as long as international standard is 12 years of basic education, that will remain to be the standard and will apply to all, including brilliant, exceptional Filipino students and graduates. In fact, there are cases where our Filipino scholars with master's degrees who have to enroll in additional master's subjects before being allowed to pursue their doctorate degrees applied for. The question is, why additional master's subject? The reason given is the short 10-year basic education in the Philippines. In other words, the Philippines has no choice but to comply with a 12-year basic education. In the first place, this has been consistent recommendation of the past surveys done on the Philippine educational system. Employability of Filipino high school graduates. The K-12 curriculum prepares the students for the world of work, middle-level skills development, entrepreneurship, and college education. As early as grade 7 and grade 8, the students is made to explore at least 8 subjects in the 4 areas of technology and livelihood education, namely home economics, ICT, industrial arts, and agriculture and fishery arts. In grade 10 and grade 12, the students is supposed to have obtained a National Certificate Level 1 and National Certificate Level 2 from TESDA. NC1 and NC2 make grade 12 graduates employable. The short duration of basic education in the Philippines resulted to 15-year-old graduates who are not legally employable. With the implementation of K-12, the graduates of senior high school are 18 years old who is legally employable. Now, let me ask you first. Are the existing realities enough justification for the implementation of K-12? Why and why not? Very good. So, for me, based on the existing realities about the old Philippine educational system, I highly agree for the implementation of K-12, considering the fact that we are obviously left behind in terms of education, and so with a level of competencies. Thinking about Philippines as the only country in Asia which is still in the 10-year basic education curriculum, it is really hard to compete with other countries. Students are studying hard, but when they apply for a job or continue their studies overseas, their sacrifice hasn't given justice because they didn't reach the international requirement. These are some of the instances that K-12 is indeed needed in the country for the students to equip with enough knowledge and skills they needed in applying their desired jobs whenever inside or outside the country. K-12 program prepares the students in the field of business and tertiary education. The 2 additional years greatly helps the students in enhancing their critical thinking and working skills. Evidently, K-12 is such a powerful tool to combat with one of the major problems in the country, which is competency and lack of employment. Now, let's talk about the K-12 curriculum. Section 5 of the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013 stipulates the following curricular standards which the curriculum developers adhered to in crafting the K-12 curriculum. A. The curriculum shall be learner-centered, inclusive, and developmentally appropriate. B. The curriculum shall be relevant, responsive, and research-based. C. The curriculum shall be culture-sensitive. D. The curriculum shall be contextualized and global. E. The curriculum shall use pedagogical approaches that are constructivist, inquiry-based, reflective, collaborative, and integrative. F. The curriculum shall adhere to the principles and framework of mother tongue-based multilingual education, which starts from where the learners are and from what they already knew, proceeding from the known to unknown. Instructional materials and capable teachers to implement the MTB-MLE curriculum shall be available. Letter G. The curriculum shall use the spiral progression approach to ensure mastery of knowledge and skills after each level. And last, letter H. The curriculum shall be flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize, indigenize, and enhance the same based on their respective educational and social contexts. The production and the development of locally produced teaching materials should be encouraged, and approval of these materials shall devolve to the regional and division education units. Core curriculum. Below are the learning areas comprising the core curriculum. The description is based on the DepEd Memo 13 Series 2013. The senior high school curriculum. There are 4 tracks in senior high school. These are the academic track, techvoc track, sports track, and arts design track. The academic track has 4 strands, namely STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. HUMS, which means humanities and social sciences. ABM, accounting, Business and Management. Lastly, the GAS, General Academic Strand. This means that at grade 11, students chooses which track to pursue, and if he or she chooses the academic track, he or she must also choose the strand. If the student intends to go to college after grade 12, then he or she must take the academic track. The college program which he or she wants to enroll in determines which strand to take: STEM, UMS, ABM, or GAS. If a grade 12 graduate wants to pursue textbook courses in Technological Educational Skills Development Authority, or otherwise known as TESDA, he or she takes the textbook track. He or she who is interested in arts and design will pursue the arts and design track. The sports track will be for any sports-minded senior high school student. So, here are the different tracks presented in each figures. Now, let's move on to figure 3, which is the tracks in senior high school. In grade 11 and 12, the student can choose which track he or she wants to: the academic track, textbook track, sports track, and arts and design. Now, let's move on to figure 4, which is the academic track that has 4 strands. These 4 strands, namely the STEM, ABM, UMS, and GAS. After we tackle or we discuss the different tracks in K-12, let us now proceed to the different course subjects to be taken by all the students regardless of the track. There are also common subjects for different tracks and the highly specialized courses for each track. Now, I'm presenting to you the course subjects. In language subject, there are 4 parts, which are the oral communication, reading and writing, komunikasyon at pananaliksik sa wikang Pilipino at kulturang Pilipino, pagbasa at pagsusuri ng iba't ibang teksto tungo sa pananaliksik. In humanities subject, there are 2 parts, which is the 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world, contemporary Filipino arts from the regions. In communication, there is the Media and Information Literacy, or otherwise known as MIL. In mathematics, there are 2 parts, which is the General Mathematics and Statistics and Probability. Now in science, there are 2 parts again, the Earth and Life Science, Lecture and Laboratory. And the second one is the Physical Science Lecture and Laboratory. Now, in social science, there is a personal development and pansariling kaunlaran. Below are the 7 contextualized subjects. The contextualized subjects apply to all tracks and strands, but the subjects are taught in the context of the track. Let me give you an example. English for academic and professional purposes for the textbook track will center on the textbook terms, describing and reporting textbook-related procedures. While for the sports track, the English subject will focus on the language for sports. Research may be a presentation and defense of a paper in management for ABM track and in STEM, but may be a culminating activity for the Arts and Design track and end of the term exhibits for the Arts and Design track. This table presents the 7 contextualized subjects. Other descriptive titles for the 7 contextualized applied subjects for all the tracks. 1. English for academic and professional purposes. 2. Research in daily life 1. 3. Research in daily life 2. Number 4. Pagsulat sa Pilipino sa piling larangan. Number 5. Entrepreneurship. 6. Empowerment technology or e-tech. Or It can also be ICT for professional tracks. 7. Research project or culminating activity. Next, specialization subjects academic track ABM. So here are the subjects for ABM track. 1. Applied economics. 2. Business ethics and social responsibility. 3. Fundamentals of accountancy, business and management 1. 4. Fundamentals of accountancy, business and management 2. Number 5. Business math. 6. Business finance. 7. Organization and management. 8. Principles of marketing. 9. Work immersion, research, career advocacy, or culminating activity. Next, specialization, academic track, STEM. Number 1, pre-calculus. Number 2, basic calculus. Number 3, general biology 1. Number 4, general biology 2. Number 5, general physics 1. Number 6, general physics 2. Number 7, general chemistry 1. Number 8, general chemistry 2. And number 9, work immersion, research, career advocacy, and culminating activity. Now, for the next one, specialization academic track UMS. These are the subject for UMS track. 1. Creative writing. Number 2, creative non-fiction, the literacy essay. Number 3, world religions and belief systems. Number 4, trends, networks, and critical thinking in the 21st century. Number 5, Philippine politics and governance. Number 6, community engagement, social participation, and citizenship. Number 7, disciplines and ideas in the social sciences. Number 8, disciplines and ideas in the applied sciences. And number 9, work immersion, research, career advocacy, or culminating activity. Next, specialization, academic track, general academic track. Now, these are the subject for GAS. Number 1, humanities 1. Number 2, humanities 2. Number 3, social science 1. Number 4, applied economics. Number 5, organization and management. Number 6, disaster readiness and risk reduction. Number 7, elective or from any track or strand. Number 8, elective 2 or any subjects from any track or strand. Number 9, work immersion, research, career advocacy, or culminating activity. Next is the subject for sports track. Number 1, safety and first aid. Number 2, human movement. Number 3, fundamentals of coaching. Number 4, sports officiating and activity management. Number 5, fitness, sports, and recreation leadership. Number 6, psychosocial aspects of sports and exercise. Number 7, fitness testing and exercise programming. Number 8, practicum in campus. Number 9, work immersion, research, career advocacy, or culminating activity. Next, the subjects for arts and design track. Number 1, introduction to applied arts and design production. Number 2, introduction to performing arts. Number 3, understanding elements and principles of the different arts. Number 4, work environment in various arts fields. Number 5, developing Filipino identity in the arts. Number 6, leadership and management in different art fields. Number 7 and 8, apprenticeship and exploration of different art fields, which are the production and performing, such as music, dance, and theater. Number 9, apprenticeship and exploration of different arts design production, which are the media arts, visual arts, and literary arts. Take action, activity 1. Let's do a survey. The Philippines has implemented the K-12 curriculum from kindergarten to grade 12. Conduct a survey among teachers handling those grade levels. Ask them what they like and what they do not like about the curriculum. Ask their suggestions on how to improve the curriculum implication. Now, as I have interviewed some teachers, from my survey, the teachers stated that what they doesn't like about the current curriculum or the K-12 is the usage of mother tongue in teaching math and science from grades 1 to 3. They also stated that this makes a huge number of teachers suffer from difficulty in teaching because when the learners reach grade 4, because of the language they had learned in the previous grades, where grade 4 is the transition period from mother tongue to English. What she does to solve this difficulty is by using English terms for important terminology in teaching math and science, so that they will have a mastery of the concept and skills in the subject. Next, Activity 2. What I know and what I can tell. What I know is that this program was founded during the Pinoy administration in order to solve and raise the quality of education in the Philippines. This is the government's answer to UNESCO's data that the Philippines is one of the few countries that follows a 10-year basic education. Well, this aims to help every student to prepare for their college years or even have already a work. I can tell that this program seems to be hard, but I do believe that in the future, it will show its benefits. Next, if you interviewed teachers, parents, and students about the K-12, what 10 ideas or concepts can you tell? So here are the 10 concepts that I have gathered. First, some parents think of K-12 as an additional expense. Second, some students take it as additional challenge. Third, there are teachers having a hard time transitioning into using mother tongue. Number 4, there are schools who cannot afford to offer multiple strands of senior high school. Number 5, students plan to work after grade 12 instead of continuing college. Number 6, the parents are still confused about how choosing of a strand works. Number 7, students think of K-12 as an expansion of their goal paths. Number 8, less fortunate parents think of it as additional expenses that they are not willing to send their child into senior high school or college. Number 9, some teachers feel bad about using mother tongue. And lastly, students have it hard choosing a strand, then later in college it won't fit in their course. And that is all for my report. Thank you for listening and have a good day.